Pull it out when you're done. Yeah. Pull it out when you're done. Yeah. Anyhow.
Keep going. Keep going.
You're the man. Yeah, you are.
There's no introduction. There's no niceness that's going to go to this video. The Denver Broncos are the same organization that they've been for the last 8 years, and they're going to be that for the foreseeable future because this is what the new ownership is allowing to happen. Elway is still here. Elway is still calling the shots. Sean Payton spilled the beans a couple weeks ago, and their draft picks only confirm it even more. What did the Denver Broncos do in the draft? Here, I'll sum it up for you. Receivers, corners, edges. Or we're going to draft an inside linebacker and move him to edge like we did to Baron Browning. Baron Browning should be your starting inside linebacker. But no, you moved him to the edge. And you would rather have a slow-ass Alex Singleton and a slow-ass Josie Jewell as your starting inside linebackers. You could have had Baron Browning and Kenny Young in the middle of the field. This team is a fucking joke. Receivers, corner, edges, safety, tight end, every single year. Every single fucking year. How many years in a row has your offensive line completely handicapped your offense? How many years? And I have Bronco fucking media members on Twitter telling me, oh, the Denver Broncos spent $200 million on the offensive line, and you think they didn't address the offensive line? How many players did they get out of that $200 million they spent? They spent most of that $200 million on one player, overpaying one player in Mike McGlinchey, who does not fit Sean Payton's offense. And they brought in Ben Powers, which is actually a good signing, but there are 3 other positions, center, left guard, left tackle, that fucking suck. And you could have drafted around those positions. You could have started drafting better quality starters. You could be adding depth next year to the offensive line. But no. Apparently, the Denver Broncos think that the NFL is a 7-on-7 league. Apparently, the trenches don't exist to the Denver Broncos. If you don't win in the trenches, you're not going to win games. The trenches are where 90% of the battle is. You saw what happened to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game when they went against that Chiefs defensive front. Completely handicapped their offense. But the Broncos are only focused on edges. Yeah, your edges fucking suck. Oh, we're worried about receivers. Yeah, your receivers fucking suck. How do you draft so much at 3 or 4 positions and they still fucking suck? How? Oh, that's why, because we hold everyone but the front office accountable year after year after year. We go as far as to lie about firing John Elway, who's been the problem since 2016 when Pat Bowlen left the organization, and we refuse to hold him accountable. And we'll go as far as to lying, saying that we got rid of him, even though we didn't, because Sean Payton spills the fucking beans, tells us that he still has an office, he's still going to be around, and he gets punished a week later because a video of him coincidentally surfaces on draft night of him smoking a bong because he's retaliating against Sean Payton, because Sean Payton went off script, spilled the beans. This organization is a fucking joke. While their owners are focused on jumbotrons, shopping centers, and new stadiums, they don't know that they have a front office that's absolutely cancer to this organization. And I don't even think they care. This is an embarrassment, and this is an absolute disrespect to Pat Bowlen. What John Elway is doing to this organization, he might as well go to Pat Bowlen's gravesite and piss all over it, because he's pissed all over everything Pat Bowlen spent his life building. This was once a flagship organization in the NFL. You think of the 5 organizations that set the standard of the NFL. You think of the 49ers. You think of the Denver Broncos. You think of the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the New England Patriots. Now, when you think of what teams suck ass and have the most incompetent front office, you think of the Denver Broncos. It's an absolute embarrassment. So, yep. If Sean Payton himself telling you guys that Elway's still here didn't tell you enough, this fucking draft should, because Bucket Man, me, Denver Bronco Mile High View told you guys long before the draft, during the Super Bowl, how this draft was going to go. Edges, 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 receivers, 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 corners, 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 every fucking year. It's not hard when the same person gets to do the same shit over and over again and not be held accountable. But yeah, Denver media, let's hear about how these were all A-plus moves and about how we're going to be competing for a championship next year. The only thing you guys are going to be competing for is to not be in the bottom of the AFC West. This is an embarrassment. And John Elway, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You need to let go. You need to retire, because being a general manager, being in the front office of an NFL franchise is not your fucking, it's not something you're good at. You care too much about your image. You care too much about doing it your way. You're so close-minded. You're such an egomaniac that you want everything done your way. You don't allow scouts. You don't allow the general manager. You don't allow the owners. You don't allow the head coaches, anybody to do their own job, because you want control over everything. And where's that gotten you? When was the last time this team was above 500? 2016, and I have Denver fans telling me, this is our year. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. You guys it'll be the same season it is every year, and I'm sick of this shit. Why cover a team that does the same thing every year and expects a different fucking result? Why? So, while you guys are celebrating more corners, receivers, the season will still get played. You'll get the same results, and you'll be on the couch wondering why and what went wrong during the playoffs when teams who did it right are playing on Sunday and Saturday. I am sick of this shit. At best, you'll get a 9-8 season, and you'll get bounced out first round in the wild card. That's the best case scenario. But you guys will never compete for championships. You guys will never be one of the organizations that makes it past wild card weekend.